For 5 minutes.
Thank you so much. As the ranking member of the Immigration Subcommittee of the Judiciary Committee, let me be clear that immigration is not within the jurisdiction of this committee. Gun violence in schools that keeps students, that is killing our students is, but you don't see a markup on gun violence and how we keep our kids safe and alive. My colleagues would have you believe that ending the use of Title 42 public health policy has resulted in higher numbers of people coming to the United States. But over the last month, border numbers are down over 60% from their peak. And as Politico describes it, it's the, quote, migrant crisis that still hasn't arrived. Democrats have persistently put forward legislation that would fix the immigration system, ensuring that we strengthen border security while allowing people a fair, secure, and humane way to seek safety. We've also consistently voted to provide additional funding for ports of entry. Last year, Democrats passed the fiscal year 23 omnibus, which included $60 million to hire additional CBP officers and support personnel at ports of entry, and another $70 million to strengthen non-intrusive inspection systems to disrupt the flow of drugs and contraband at ports of entry. Not one of my Republican colleagues on this committee voted for that legislation. Now, if my Republican colleagues were serious about improving public education, they would work with us to make sure schools are fully funded and kids have the support they need to succeed. We would be funding school meals, universal pre-K, and mental health for kids. But instead, the first markup we held this Congress was to go after trans kids by imposing a trans sports ban and depriving kids of an accurate and fact-based education. Instead, my Republican colleagues passed a bill, the Default on America Act, that would cut about $4 billion in funding for schools serving low-income kids, gutting program funding to its lowest level in nearly a decade. These cuts are equivalent to removing over 60,000 teachers and specialized instructional support personnel from classrooms. Nationwide, these cuts would reduce support for 7.5 million students with disabilities, slash over 200,000 Head Start slots for kids, and Pell Grants for about 80,000 students. Republican funding cuts to schools serving low-income kids would impact 110,000 kids in Iowa, 330,000 Virginians, 1.1 million Georgians, nearly 400,000 kids in Wisconsin, 380,000 Hoosiers, and over 1.5 million kids in New York. Among students with disabilities, it would cut support for 781,000 kids in California, over 340,000 Pennsylvanians, over 600,000 Texans, 78,000 Kansans, and 126,000 kids in Missouri. It would also make college more expensive for nearly 570,000 Michiganders and over 1 million students in Florida. I could keep going, but what is clear is that every Republican on this committee has voted for funding cuts that would hurt kids, including their own constituents. The resolution that we are considering today is nothing but a fear-mongering attack to distract from the fact that my colleagues don't have real solutions to improve education and to give kids the best shot at a brighter future. I urge my colleagues to reject this resolution, and I yield back.
Are there other members who wish to be recognized for further